Hello guys, I wanted to make a video, right? Talking about why you should be unpredictable, right? I feel like a lot of us dudes want to be predictable, mainly because this is how society forces us to be. And it's also because it's just simply the safest option, right? But I'm here to tell you otherwise, that you should be unpredictable, right? You should break the norms, you should do your own thing, go your own way, right? And become a man that you would be proud to be, right? Because unpredictable people, right? They claim the world, they conquer the world, and that's because they don't conform to what society wants them to be, right? So in this video, right, when I give you guys the 3 reasons, right, why you should be unpredictable, hopefully at the end of the video, you guys will understand what it means to be unpredictable and become a man that you're proud of and a man that does not conform to society's standards. So let's hop right into the video. All right, guys, the first reason, right, why you should be unpredictable is very simple, right? Unpredictable people are natural risk takers, right? I'm going to say it again, right? Unpredictable people are natural risk takers. Unpredictable people, when they take huge risk, they're gambling with that huge risk for a great prize, right? They take a risk for a great prize in whatever fashion it may be. It may be their status, it may be wealth, it may be their job, it may even be that girl that they see on the street. When they take a risk, they're gambling for a prize. And that's exactly why you should be unpredictable, right? Because it's a great price after you take that great risk, right? And it helps you build resilience, right? The more you take risks, the less of a risk, right, it becomes, right? The more I take this risk, the more I keep doing this, the less of a risk it becomes, right? When I go to that gym the first time, the more I keep going to the gym, the more I expose myself to people that I've never met, to strangers, right? I become more comfortable, right? And all of a sudden, right, it does not feel like a risk. It just feels like a normality, right? But what's so normal to you, right? It's like a death sentence to anybody that's never done this kind of thing before, like going to the gym, for example, right? And it could be other things, right? Using this analogy to other things, right? You build resilience to things that once would have scared you into nothing, right? You also learn from your failure, right? When you take risk, right? The more I take the risks, the more I learn from my failure, the better I become at it, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not just going to become rich if I don't go out there and try, right? I'm just always going to be stuck where I'm at if I'm not going out there to try. The more I try to do these things, the more I learn from my failures, the more I learn from what could have been. Then I do it again, and all of a sudden I become better and better. And it's just a cycle. The more you fail, the less you're going to fail in the future, right? I'm gonna say that again, right? The more you fail, right, the less you're going to fail in the future, right? Because failure is just a natural cause of things, right? I'm not going to make it to where I want to be. I'm not going to get all the girls that I want to get. I'm not going to get the status that I'm looking for if I'm not going to go out there and try, right? If I'm not going to put myself out there, even now making this video, right? Me being a risk taker, right? If I'm not putting myself out there, I'm not going to get the status I'm looking for, right? I'm not going to get the fame that I'm looking for, essentially, right? Meanwhile, I'm also trying to help you guys out, right? So you guys can probably do the same thing in the future for yourselves, right? This is exactly why you should be a risk taker. And of course, guys, you can't just take any risk and hope it works out, right? You can't just take a risk just for the sake of it. You also have to know the kind of risk that you're trying to take, right? You need to like assess the risk that you're taking, calculate the risk, right? There's people out there, right, that never get into the business that they're trying to do and would take years, right, 7 years to a decade studying the business, the kind of business that they're trying to do before they get into it, right? And that's because they've already made up their mind a while ago to take that risk, right? But they spent all this time assessing the risk, making sure that they're prepared for any kind of pitfall that they will encounter, right, before they take the risk, right? And that's exactly what you should do, right? Being a risk taker, right, is beneficial. You shouldn't just take a risk just because you want to take a risk, just because you feel as if it's the right thing to do, right? While it is the right thing to do, you should also know what you're doing before you take the risk, right? Because once you make that pitfall, once you encounter a failure that's too big enough to just shrug off, then no one's going to come to save you, right? As a man, you should know that by now, right? Nobody's coming to save you, right? and I'm out here trying to save you guys to the best of my ability, but I can only do so much. All right, guys, now reason number 2, right, why you should be unpredictable, right, is spontaneity, is being spontaneous, right, through creativity. I'm gonna say that again, right, spontaneous through creativity, right. When you're unpredictable, you create a more creative mindset for yourself, right. You don't see the world in a predictable way. You naturally have a mindset that's just more creative, that can suit your needs and help you out in your goals, right? That's just why you should be a risk taker, because you change your mindset over time. Once you change your mindset, you become unpredictable and you become a guy that's just willing to take anything because you have creativity. When you have unconventional thinking, right, you defy the norms of what society tries to put on us men, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like us men, we're getting weaker by the day because of what society tries to feed us down our throats, right? To be someone that we're not, right? To just be weak men, right? Because we live in a pampered society compared to like the old ways, the old times, right? The ancient times, essentially, right? Even the Bible, when you read the Bible, right? Which is what you guys should also be doing, right? Just dudes, very good biblical figures, right? That lived a harsher time and that were strong men, right? That did not follow the society, what society wanted to put on them, right? And of course, God had a hand to it, right? But it still was through their own actions, right? God steers, you row, right? Once you have unconventional thinking, you have innovative ideas that you can apply to life, that you can apply to yourself so that you can achieve your goals and achieve what you want to achieve. Remember that. And you have an open mindset, right? An open mindset allows you to understand new things, right? Allows you to not see what society tries to put on you, right? Not what that one person tries to put on you, right? Do not follow the herd. When you have an open mindset, you start to see things where people might miss because they just want to follow the herd and not want to like learn new things, right? When you have an open mindset, you're free to do your own thing. You're free to just do what you want to do and to make yourself happy, right? When you have an open mindset, you start to see new things, and you might even be hated for it, right? You might even be hated for seeing views in the way that other people just can't accept, right? Just can't see because they're too stuck in their own ways. You have an open mindset, you have your own views, and that allows you to be creative, right? Because being creative and having an open mindset goes hand in hand, right? One cannot exist without the other, right? And that will all lead you to be an unpredictable guy that takes risks to achieve greatness. And of course, guys, right, the more creative you become, you just gain creative confidence, right? You trust in your instincts, you trust in your ability to adapt and to have innovative ideas, right? And the more innovative you become, you have more creative confidence, right? Because I will tell you this as well, right? Confidence is earned, right? You're not just going to become confident just because you imagine yourself, right, being confident, just because you imagine yourself having the feeling of confidence. It's earned, right? If I've never fought someone before and someone puts me in a situation where I got to fight, I'm not going to have confidence naturally, right? But if I have fought before, if I've trained to fight, right, confidence is not going to be this feeling. It's just going to be reality. I'm not confident because I've never fought before, but I'm confident because I fought before and I've trained. So it's not confidence anymore. It's just proven. You've proved to yourself, right? And this is exactly what creative confidence is in this case, right? Once I've proven to myself that I have creativity, that I've adapted, right? That I've learned, that I've shown myself that I can make anything, right? Then naturally I'm gonna have creative confidence, and that creative confidence, right, will lead you to become an unpredictable guy. Lastly, guys, the last reason, right? You just have high intelligence, right? For personal growth, right? I'm gonna say this shit again, right? You just have high intelligence for personal growth, right? Because all of this, right? The first two reasons, you would just naturally accrue, right, an amount of high intelligence, right? Once you have high intelligence, you understand that this is all to fuel your personal growth. This is all to make you a better man than you were yesterday, right? Every day should be a new day to make yourself better than you were yesterday, right? In anything, in all aspects of your life, right? In working out, in intelligence, mental training, in how you fight, everything, right? But focusing more on the mental aspects of things, right? You just naturally develop a better intuitive decision making, right? because you're not very predictable, because you're unpredictable, right? And because you have the creative process, right? And because you're a risk taker, you just have intuitive decision making over time, right? You become you become a better, right, decision maker, because you make decisions that's better for you at all times, naturally, right? And while there's always going to be a certain risk to it, right, because of the first reason, right, it will still help you when it turns out to be right. And if it doesn't turn out to be a right thing, the risk was still worth it, right? Not the risk, right? The reward, right, was still worth it, right? The risk of the reward, right, was still worth it. What could have been was still worth it. And that's why you took that risk, right? And this doesn't have to be just about like being unpredictable, right? Why you should be unpredictable. You just naturally have a better decision-making skills, right? Because you're just not predictable, right? Because you just are taking risk every single time, because you have creativity, right? You're just naturally not predictable. So you just naturally have good decision-making skills, and that decision-making skills would show in all aspects of your life. Even if you were to stop being unpredictable the next day, right, and go back to being predictable, you still have better decision-making skills than you were before, right? So why not be unpredictable for the rest of your life? And guys, this is a lifelong journey, right? This is a lifelong growth, right? Unpredictable people understand this, right? This is a lifelong growth. You're not just gonna be unpredictable and the next day be predictable. You're gonna be unpredictable for the rest of your life, because it's a growth thing, right? While everybody's outside partying, doing what young people do these days, you're out here grinding, you're focusing on yourself, because you're unpredictable, right? Because you're focusing on yourself, because you want to become a better guy you ever could have been, right? That's why you should be unpredictable, right? Because it's going to be a lifelong thing, right? Even if you achieve your goals in your 20s, right, you're still going to keep going even after that. Because why not, right? Why stop there? Why not just claim the crown? Why not just become the king, right, of the entire kingdom, right? Why not just keep going until you become the emperor, right? It's a lifelong journey, right? And you would never want to be predictable again, regardless, anyways, right? So be unpredictable for as much as time as possible, right? For as long as possible, right? And don't stop. And this also, right, attributes to faith, right? If you're unpredictable, right, and you're taking leaps of risk, right, of great rewards, right, risks that could lead to great rewards, right, you're also taking leaps of faith, right? You're putting your trust in God. You're allowing God to be by your side, right? Or at least that's what I would hope when you're taking that leap of faith, because who are you putting your faith into, right? Yourself, right? At the end of the day, right, when you're taking that leap of risk, that leap of faith, right, in hopes of getting that reward that could better your life, you're putting your trust in God and hoping that God can guide you into where you want to be, right? That's the kind of leap of faith that being unpredictable brings, right? If you're taking risks so that you can achieve your goals, you're taking that leap of faith, you're putting your trust in God, and it honestly just brings you closer to God, right, than you ever could have been if you were just predictable, if you were just following the norm. Because when you're unpredictable, you're also fulfilling the plans that God possibly has for you, right? You're trying to figure out your goals, right? Like I said before, God steers you row, right? You're trying to figure out the plans that God has for you. And when you're taking that leap of faith, all of a sudden, right, you're putting your trust in God, and you're trying to find your way, and hopefully, and most assuredly, right, God will give you what you're seeking, right? That you probably don't even know what you're looking for, right? And all of a sudden it makes sense, right? And that's why you should be unpredictable. Lastly, guys, remember to like, follow, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys another time.